classification of elements and periodicity in properties is chapter number 3. So till class 10, you have already come across certain classifications. Why is the classification required? That is the basic question that we need to understand. So of course, if classification is done properly, then it will be easier for us to deal with large population. It is just like saying that if in a school, the students are not classified into classes and sections, it will not be possible to teach every individual student, okay, as you don't have availability of so many rooms, you don't have availability of so many teachers, and that is why the students are grouped into classes, grouped into sections, and they are taught as a whole because the things are common. It's not like I'm not saying that class 5 student will be grouped with class 4 or class 4 will be grouped with class 11. Before making the groups, it is important that there should be some similarity. So all the students of your age belong to class 11. All the students of class 11 who is taking tuitions from me are under the science stream. Of course, none of you are from the commerce stream or art stream. So you have got so many things in common. You all belong to class 11. You all have science stream being chosen. You all have chemistry subject as one of the subjects. And that is why you are made into classes and accordingly you are taught to make the process relatively more easier. Now, as we have so many elements discovered so far, and some of the elements have similarities in their properties. So therefore, it was thought that why don't we study the elements in certain classes, in certain groups, rather than studying them individually. So that is the main idea behind classification of elements. You can classify the things on various criterias. I can suppose in my classroom, I can classify the students on the basis of the schools they belong to. That is one way of classification. I can classify the students on the basis of their gender. So for that, I'll have to classify you into two sections, boys and girls. I can classify you on the basis of several other criteria. So depending upon what is the basis of classification, what is the criteria on the basis of which classification is being done. So we can say that the same way, after discoveries of so many elements, it was thought to classify the elements into certain groups. So I'm not going to the historical background where Mendeleev's periodic table, Dobrynja triads, Newland's octave were classified. These were older versions, and every one of them had some limitations. And one thing was common between all of them. And what was the common thing? The basis of classification was atomic mass. But because the basis of classification was atomic mass, so some limitations were coming. Even though the Mendeleev's classification was considered as one of the most, you can say, successful way of classification, because at his time, relatively 63 elements were already discovered. But Newland's octave and Dobrynja triads, not much elements were discovered. So classification was not that successful. Nevertheless, whatever be the classification done so far, all had the same basis, and the elements were based on or classified on the basis of atomic mass. And what was the law, Mendeleev's periodic law, on the basis of which classification was done? the Mendeleev's periodic law says that the physical and chemical properties of different elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. This was the statement given by Mendeleev. And we need to understand deeply the meaning of this law. What does it say? In mathematics, you must have studied that if you come across equations like y is equal to 2x plus 3, so can we say y is a function of x?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by the term y is a function of x? It means that the value of y depends upon the value of x or not.
Yes, sir.
If I put x equal to 1, the value of y is 5. If x equal to 2, then the value of y will be 7. So likewise, the value of x changes and accordingly the value of y also changes. So we say that y is a function of x. Same way, when I talk about the physical and chemical properties of different elements, when I use the term physical properties like melting point, boiling point, solubility, etc., for which chemical reactions are not required. And when I say chemical properties, it means how they react with the different reagents. So that physical and chemical properties of different elements are functions of their atomic masses. What kind of functions? Periodic functions. Now, what is the meaning of the term periodic? Periodic means which repeats after regular interval. Today is Sunday, and we know that Sunday is periodic. Exactly after 6 days, you are going to get the Sunday again. So therefore, we say Sunday is periodic in nature. Today, the date is, what is the date today? 19th?
19 September.
19 September. So 19 September is also periodic in nature because exactly after 1 year, you are going to get 19 September. But the year 2021 is not periodic. You are never going to get back the 2021 after 31st of December, isn't it? So that is not periodic. So periodic is something which changes after regular interval. So here the statement saying that the physical and chemical properties of different elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses, it means that when the different elements are arranged in order of their increasing atomic masses, whatever elements were discovered during the Mendeleev era, when they were arranged in order of increasing atomic masses, it was found that after some regular intervals, the physical and chemical properties of elements were found to be repeated. That is the meaning of this term. But as I said, that all these previous ways of classification had shortcomings. Some way or the other, they could not satisfy. If they tried to satisfy one criteria, the other criteria was not satisfied. So people like Moseley, Moseley, started thinking that how can I correlate the physical and chemical properties of elements with atomic masses? Because when I talk about atomic masses or mass numbers, which subatomic particles are responsible in determining the atomic masses or mass number? Yes?
Protons and neutrons.
Protons and neutrons. Now, where are the protons and neutrons present? Are they present outside the nucleus or inside the nucleus?
Inside the nucleus.
They are inside the nucleus. Now, physical and chemical properties do not involve nuclear reactions. They involve simple reactions. And in simple reactions, nucleus never take part, because if you want to make the nucleus to take part in the reaction, you need to supply a huge amount of energy. It means that the simple chemical reactions that we come across in our day-to-day lives, there the nucleus has no role to play. Who takes part in those chemical reactions? It is someone who is outside the nucleus. And who is that someone?
Electron.
Electrons. Now, when I say that the chemical reactions depend upon the electrons, the physical and chemical properties depend upon the electrons, then it will be improper to use the term atomic masses, isn't it? Because electron has nothing to do with the atomic masses. Electron is related to atomic masses or atomic numbers?
Atomic number.
Atomic numbers. So therefore, it was thought that the basis of classification had a mistake, and therefore the Mendeleev's periodic table, which considered the basis of classification as atomic masses, had to be changed. And now we say the atomic masses should be replaced by the term atomic numbers. So this statement, which was previously called Mendeleev's periodic law, now is called modern periodic law. So there is a slight difference between Mendeleev's periodic law and modern periodic law. What is the difference? Can anybody tell me now?
Sir, atomic number.
So the previous ways of classification was based on atomic mass, whereas the modern periodic law is based on atomic number. So that is the basic difference between the modern periodic table and the previous ways of classification, that is Mendeleev's periodic law, Dobrynaya triads, or Newland's octave. This much is understood to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So when I say the basis should be atomic mass, it is completely wrong because of the fact that atomic masses, which depend upon the nucleus or protons and neutrons, never directly are involved in the chemical reactions. So when I use the term chemical and physical properties, so it should be correlated to the electrons which are present outside the nucleus, not those which are present inside the nucleus. So hence, we will no longer talk about atomic mass, but we will be talking about the atomic numbers. So if you want to further simplify this statement, I can also write, or when different elements are arranged in order of increasing atomic numbers, their physical and chemical properties are repeated after regular intervals. When different elements are arranged in order of their increasing atomic numbers, their physical and chemical properties are repeated after the regular intervals. That is the simplification of the statement given by modern periodic law. So actually your syllabus starts from modern periodic law. You don't require the previous or historical classification, which involves the Mendeleev's periodic law. But we will have to first compare the Mendeleev's periodic table with modern periodic table. What is the basic difference between the two? That we need to understand. Is the statement written?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we talk about atomic number, it's number of protons or number of electrons for a neutral atom. And when we talk about number of electrons, obviously, electrons are arranged in the different energy levels, and that method of arrangement is referred to as electronic configuration. So systematic is the modern periodic table that if you are capable of writing the electronic configuration of an atom, you can easily locate that atom in the periodic table. And that we are going to learn that how the modern periodic table looks like. And if you know the atomic number of an element, how you are going to place that element in the modern periodic table. So before we start the details, let me tell you that the modern periodic table has been further subdivided into 4 blocks, which look something like this. Now the question arises, why only 4? Why not 3? Why not 5? The answer is because there are 4 subshells known to us, namely S, P, D, and F. Now, what is the relation between S, P, D, and F and the blocks that have been used in the modern periodic table? Because depending upon the electronic configuration of an element, it will be positioned in the periodic table accordingly. So either the electronic configuration of an element ends up with S, P, D, or F. And depending upon what it is ending up with, accordingly, it will be given the position in the periodic table. On extreme left-hand side, we have S block. On extreme right-hand side, we have P block. In between S and P, we have D block. And below the main body, we have F block. Up to this much, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So again, let me tell you that why there are 4 types of blocks in the modern periodic table, because there are 4 types of subshells which are known so far. So either while writing down the electronic configuration of an element, it ends up with S, P, D, or F. So accordingly, the elements will be given the positions depending upon where is the last electron entering in the whole electronic configuration. Now, till the last chapter, we have learned that S is a single box capable of accommodating 2 electrons. So accordingly, S block will be subdivided into 2 groups, which means that the subdivision depends upon how many electrons can be accommodated in the respective subshell. So S subshell can maximum accommodate how many electrons? Tell me.
2.
2 electrons. And therefore, the S block is further subdivided into 2 groups. P has how many boxes under it?
3.
3 boxes. Capable of accommodating how many electrons?
6.
6.
Accordingly, the P block has 6 groups under it. D has got how many boxes under it? How many orbitals
5.
under it? 5. Capable of accommodating how many electrons?
10.
So accordingly, there will be And F has how many orbitals under it?
7,
Capable of accommodating how many electrons?
14,
14. Is it clear up to this much?
yes, sir.
So every block is further subdivided into certain groups. How many groups each block will have depend upon what? Each block will be further subdivided into how many groups will depend upon what? Why S block has got 2 groups under it?
Sir, because it has 2 electrons.
Because S subshell can maximum accommodate 2 electrons. Why P block has 6 groups under it? Why
Because
P
it can
block has
maximum
6?
accommodate 6 electrons.
Because P subshell can accommodate 6 electrons. Why D block has 10 groups under it?
Sir, because D subshell can accommodate 10 electrons.
10 electrons. That means the block is related to the subshell. If a subshell can accommodate n number of electrons, then the respective block will have n number of groups under it. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So all these vertical columns that I am drawing under S block, P block, D block are called groups. There are 2 groups under S. There are 10 groups under D. There are 6 groups under P, making a total of 18 vertical columns in modern periodic table. And hence we can say that a total of 18 groups are there. F you should not consider now. I'll tell you when F should come into the picture. But the main, you can say, blocks are S, P, and D. I hope this much is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll have to make some kind of modification in this particular picture, and I'll tell you that on what basis the modification has to be done. But for the time being, remember that there are total of 18 groups, 2 belonging to the S, 6 belonging to the P, and 10 belonging to the D. So this is as far as the vertical columns are concerned, and these are called groups. Now we are talking about the horizontal rows, how they are to be put in, and those are called periods. So the vertical columns are called groups and the horizontal rows are called periods, and the period will be determined on the basis of the principal quantum number. So let us see how the periods are determined. Now when we talk about considering the period, so let me first discuss on the right hand side of the board. We have seen that the different energy levels that we have come across are classified in this type. I think one of you was asking in the last class that how to remember the electronic configuration. It becomes confusing. So I told you that it is not confusing at all. So whenever you are considering S and P, then it should belong to the outermost shell. But the moment you come across D, so it should be second last shell. Didn't I tell you last class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 1 has got only S under it, 2 has got S and P under it, 3 has got S, P, and D, all of them. But let me tell you that even though this belongs to the third shell, but 3D's energy is comparable with that of 4s and 4p. It is always counted along with 4s and 4p. Similarly, if this is 5s, this will be 4d, this will be 5p. If this is 6s, now for the first time 4f will come into account, 4f, then 5d, then 6p. So you see, whenever I'm putting s and p, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, same as that of the period number. But whenever we are talking about d, so it becomes 1 less. And whenever we are talking about f, it becomes 2 less. What should I put here? Next line.
7s,
7s. Fine. Then
5f,
5f. For f, it decreases by 2. What next?
6d,
6d. What next?
7p,
7p. Now, up to this much, anybody has got doubt? You clarify. Is it understood? How have I put the energy levels?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, I am repeating, even though 3D belongs to the third shell, but it should not be put in the third row because 3D energy wise is much higher than their counterparts S and P, and therefore it should be counted along with 4S and 4P. Likewise, 4D should be counted along with 5S and 5P. 5D should be counted along with 6S and 6P. And when F comes, so obviously F has to be 2 less than that of the principal quantum number. Acha, tell me, suppose theoretically, if I want to understand, if it is 100S, then how much will be F?
98,
Very good. 98F. And how much should be D?
99,
99.
And how much should be P?
100,
100.
100. I hope it is clear now.
Yes.
Is it
Yes,
understood?
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Yes,
based
sir.
on that, the distribution is done. Now you see that this particular row, the first row, can maximum accommodate how many electrons? Only 2, isn't it?
yes, sir.
Sir.
So in the first row, there should be only 2 elements. That means the elements present in a row depends upon how many electrons can be present in this particular diagram. This can accommodate how many electrons?
8,
8.
8.
So the second row also has got, second and third row, both of them have got 8 elements. Understood?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Now there is a question in NCERT that even though the third shell has got d orbital in it, and accordingly it should be 2 plus 6 plus 10, 18, then why the third period has got only 8 elements? The answer to this question is, even though the third shell has got d subshell under it, but that is not counted along with the other counterparts because its energy is comparable with that of 4s and 4p, and therefore 3d should be counted in which particular period? Third period or fourth period?
4th,
So fourth.
Fourth period. Adrika is there?
Yes, sir.
Adrika, you long back asked me a question, I think, regarding this. And I asked you to wait for some days. Now the time has come. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many elements are there in the fifth period?
18,
18 again.
18.
Sixth,
So
32,
32.
seventh,
32,
Sir, 32.
so this should be the proper arrangement of the elements. This whole thing is to be put here in the modern periodic table. So try to understand it in a proper way. The first period has 2 elements, second has got 8, third 8, fourth and fifth 18, and sixth and seventh 32. Even though the seventh one is incomplete because not all elements have been discovered, but space has been put to keep 32 elements in the seventh period. So you have to remember this arrangement: 1s2, 2s2 2p6, 3s2 3p6, 3d comes to the next one, which is counted along with 4s and 4p. Likewise, 4d is to be counted along with 5s and 5p. And this way, we'll have to understand it. Fahim, understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you written it down? This pattern, have you written it down, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now come to the main body again. So we see that there are 7 periods. So let me put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So here, as the first period, these are the periods 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So how many elements are present in the first period? Only 2.
Yes, sir.
So we need to rub this up. First, we have drawn the complete boxes. And now on the basis of the elements that can be accommodated, the first period has got only 2 elements. This is 1s1, this is 1s2. You cannot have more than 2 elements because 1s cannot accommodate more than 2 electrons. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Slowly, as we keep on discussing the things, it will be more clearer in your mind, because once you are comfortable in writing the electronic configuration properly, and simply remember the way I have written: 1s, thereafter put a gap, 2s 2p, then 3s 3p, then 4s 3d 4p. So it will not be very difficult for you to understand the whole concept. Okay, now come to the second period. Second period can accommodate how many elements?
8.
8.
8. And what will be the electronic configuration of the elements belonging to the second period? 2s2 and 2p6, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, is there any d element?
No, sir.
There is no d element. D element 9. So d element jodi nai okol s aru p ase, tumi swa, this is the element present here will have electronic configuration ending up with what? 2s1 or not?
Yes, sir.
This will be ending up with 2s2 or not?
Yes, sir.
This one will end up with what? 2s to 2p1, 2s to 2p2, 2s to 2p3, 2s to 2p4, 2s to 2p5, 2s to 2p6, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh. আচ্ছা, ইয়াত মই এটা বস্তু কৈ দিওঁ, এইটো হল হাইড্ৰোজেন, এইটো হল হিলিয়াম। হিলিয়ামৰ ইলেক্ট্ৰনিক কনফিগাৰেশন কিন্তু 1s2 হয়, and accordingly it should be put here or not, because if the electronic configuration ends up with s, then it should be placed here. Why it is placed under the p block? It is because of the fact that if I put the helium in this particular position, then its properties will not match up with the elements belonging to it, because helium is a noble gas. So therefore helium altogether has been placed separately under group 18. So it is exceptional. Otherwise if you go by the electronic configuration of helium, which is 1s2, it should be placed in s block, because the block is determined by where is the last electron entering. Clear?
Okay, sir.
So this is the position for lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. Come to the next. Who is present in the next one?
S
Sir,
and P.
sodium.
Sodium.
No. I'm talking about this. Forget
S
about the
and P.
element.
D is absent.
3s and 3p. So this is 3s. D is absent. So I'm not supposed to put any box here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There will be no box here. The element which will be present here will have electronic configuration ending up with what?
Sir,
3s1.
one is
Sir,
3s1.
can you
PS1.
explain this once again?
Which one?
Sir, the first row which you rub of D block.
Can you repeat the question again? You are not audible.
Sir, you rub the first row of D block.
D block.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you look at the right hand side portion in the third row, what are the subshells that have been drawn? 3s and 3p only, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So 3s will contain 2 boxes under it and 3p will contain 6 boxes under it. There is no 3d because 3d is counted in the next one or not.
Yes, sir.
So therefore I have rubbed the D portion from it. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now my question to you was, the element who will be present here, its electronic configuration will end up with what? According to its position. 3s1. 3s1. What about this?
3s2.
3s2. What about this? 3s2 is filled up. We go to the next one. 3s2 3p1. 3s2 3p2. 3s2 3p3. 3s2 3p4. 3s2 3p5. 3s2 3p6. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear up to this much?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now come to the fourth period. Fourth period में पहला क्या है? 4s2 है?
4s1.
4s1.
So no. As a whole, it is 4s2, 3d10, 4p6 or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this will be 4s1. This will be 4s2. But then it will start entering in 3d, because you remember while writing the electronic configuration, we have discussed that according to n plus L rule, 3d has higher energy with respect to 4s, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
after 4s1 and 4s2, it is not 4p1 to 4p6. In between, there is 3d1 to 3d10. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So this is 4s1, 4s2. Then it is 4s2 3d1, 4s2 3d2, 4s2 3d3. It was supposed to be 4s2 3d4, but due to exception of half-filled stability, it is 4s1 3d5. Remember chromium?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then 4s2 3d5, 4s2 3d6, 4s2 3d7, 4s2 3d8. It was supposed to be 4s2 3d9, but it is found to be 4s1 3d10 for copper. And this is 4s2 3d10. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So after 4s is filled up, 3d is filled up, we go to 4p. So this will be 4p1 to 4p6. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, I am repeating 4s, these 10, 3d, these 6, 4p. Come to the fifth period. They are 5s1 and 5s2 or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So after 5s1 and 5s2, who should come next?
Sir, 5s41.
5s2, 4d1, 4d2, 4d3 up to 4d10. In between, 2 exceptions will be coming. just like copper and chromium we had. So just below chromium, you will have exception. Just below copper, you will have exception. And after the 4D is completed, where the electron should now enter?
5p.
5p126. 5p126. So just remember this pattern that I have shown, then the whole periodic table will be very much clear to you. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The pattern is very important. Okay, now after your 5p6 is filled up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we were here 5p6. What should be the electronic configuration of this?
6s1.
6s1.
1.
6s1. Now listen very carefully. Some exception is coming on the way. 6s1, 6s2. Then who should be this? 5d1. Okay. According to its position, it should be 5d or not?
Yes, sir.
So here you will get an element called lanthanum, whose electronic configuration is 5d1, atomic number 57. But after 5d1, you are supposed to put in 5d2, but it puts a gap due to the complication, due to the different, you can say, complexities, because as we go above, complexities arise. So simply remember, after atomic number 57, which belongs to lanthanum, whose electronic configuration is 5d1, you don't get 58 here, you get 58 here. And after it makes a complete go, the 72nd element will be present here. What is the electronic configuration of 57? 5d1. But after 5d1, the 5d1 stops, it freezes, and electron starts filling up in 4f. 4f1, 4f2, 4f3 up to 4f14. And once 4f is completely filled up, then it is further continued 5d2, 5d3, 5d4, 5d5. See whether you have understood this point or not. You want repetition?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 57 is atomic number of lanthanum. Lanthanum has got electronic configuration of 6s2, 5d1. Though according to this diagram, after 6s2, the electron should start filling up a 4f, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But due to the complexity, only one electron goes to 5d under lanthanum. But
Sir,
after
your
going
screen
to,
is blurred.
is it blur for everyone?
No, sir. It's
No,
okay.
No,
sir.
sir.
It's okay.
It's okay. So you rejoin again, Abhilash. So what I was saying is, after 6s1 and 6s2, the electrons are supposed to go into 4f1 to 4f14, but only for one element, lanthanum, it goes to 5d1. It stops after entering into 5d1, and thereafter it starts filling up 4f1, 4f2, and because we have entered into 4f, it has to be placed separately under f block. So 4f1 to 4f14 will be continuously filled up in this manner, and after the 4f14 is completely filled up, then only you go to 5d2, 5d3, 5d4 up to 5d10. Clear?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So who is showing the exceptional behavior? Which element is not following the normal behavior?
So lanthanum.
Lanthanum.
Lanthanum. So all these elements ranging from 58 to 71, which are placed after 57, are called lanthanoids. So lanthanoids are group of 14 elements placed after lanthanum. Lanthanum is name of the element, and lanthanoids is the name of the family that comes after lanthanum. And these 14 elements are placed separately under F block, because in these 14 elements, the last electron is entering in the F subshell, and they are referred to as lanthanoids. Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
So after 72 comes what? Now it will be naturally going 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86. Now this is 7s1, 7s2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So they will follow the normal behavior. So how much was this? 72. What was this one? 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. But again, after 89, the name of this element 89 is actinium. And according to its positioning, what will be the electronic configuration? 7s1, 7s2, exception 6d1. Because it is under D block or not?
Yes, sir.
6d1. But after 89, it will not be 90, 91. It will again come here. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103. Here it will be 104. What will be the electronic configuration of 104? Yes?
5F2.
Will it be 5F2 or 5D2?
5D.
D2.
5D2, sir.
No, it will be 6D2 and 5F14 are completely filled up. Remember, we are in the 7th period, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Sir, the
Yes, sir.
6D.
7S, 5F, 6D, 7P. 7 was 7s1, 7s2 filled up. Then electron does not enter in 5F, rather one electron enters in 6D. So 6D1 puts a stop. It continues. So 6D1, 5F1, 6D1, 5F2, 6D1, 5F3, 5F4, up to 5F14. Then it starts entering in this. So here 5F14 is filled up already. So it will be 6D2, 6D3, 6D4. And once it is 6D10, then it will be 7P126. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And these set of 14 elements placed after actinium, whose atomic number is 89, are called actinoids. So in lanthanoids, electron starts filling up in 4F. In actinoids, electron starts filling up in 5F. Clarify
Okay,
your
sir.
doubt if you have got any till now. So according to you, after the discussion, which two elements do you think are exceptional and do not follow the normal trend?
Lanthanum.
Lanthanum and
Lanthanum.
actinium.
Lanthanum and actinium.
Yes, sir.
Lanthanum and actinium are not following the normal rule. Actually, you were supposed to first fill up 4F and 5F, but just for one element, they are breaking the rule. So lanthanum is 5D1 and actinium is 6D1, and thereafter they again follow the normal trend. Understood, friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So simply remember the trend that I have given you: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. That will give you the overall idea of the periodic table. And apart from that, remember the two exceptions under lanthanum and actinium. And don't get confused with the names lanthanum and lanthanoids. What is the difference between lanthanum and lanthanoids?
Lanthanoids
Sir,
come after.
lanthanum is an element.
Lanthanum is an element, but lanthanoids are group of 14 elements placed after lanthanum placed under F block. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
similarly, actinium is name of element with atomic number 89, and after actinium, the next 14 elements are called actinoids, which are placed in F block below the lanthanums. Clear?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, after the discussion of the whereabouts of the electrons, I mean the elements, based on their electronic configuration, if we are asked to write the general electronic configuration of elements, so we can say that in S block on the extreme left hand side, the electronic configuration will be either NS1 or NS2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If it is NS1, they will belong to the first group, and if they are NS2, they will belong to the second group, except the helium. Helium is 1s2 and was supposed to be placed here, but we cannot place it here because it's a noble gas, so it has been placed separately along with other noble gases. Otherwise, everyone has electronic configuration of NS1, 2. It means either NS1 or NS2. Come to the P block elements, general electronic configuration. Their NS is filled up, and they will start filling from NP1 to 6, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Actually, in some books, they consider the noble gases also under P block, and under some, they consider NP1 to 5, and this is separately taken as noble gases. But I'll prefer that except for helium, all are following the rules. So therefore, I'll consider it as NS2 NP1 to 6. D block, NS1, 2, N-1, D1 to 10. See whether you have understood this or not.
Yes, sir.
So can you
For
please-
D, I'm explaining it. For D, we know that the shell is not the outermost shell. If it was 4s, it was 3D or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
This was 4s1, 4s2. Suddenly it dropped down by 1, 3D1 to 3D10. So if this is outermost shell N, will it not be N-1?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
This was 5s1, 5s2. Was it 5D or 4D?
4D.
So
4D.
It was
4D.
4D. So if it is NS1, NS2, will it not be N-1D?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Clear? So therefore, I have put N-1D 1 to 10. Now, why have I put NS1 as well as 2 both? Even though all these elements have NS2 in them, then why have I put NS1 as well? Can anyone
Sir,
explain?
because few of them have exceptions.
Yes, because half-filled and full-filled have NS1 configuration. Remember, one of the electrons was jumping to make it 3D5 or 3D10 in case of chromium and copper.
Yes, sir.
So except for those, it was supposed to be NS2, N-1D 1 to 10. But because everyone is considered, so therefore we are considering NS1 as well. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can
Can
you
anyone?
repeat?
Which one? Why it is NS1?
Yes, sir.
Chromium was atomic number 24, isn't it? It was supposed to be argon 4s to 3d4. Last class we have discussed. But do you get 4s to 3d4 or something else?
No, sir. 4s1 3d5.
You get 4s1 3d5 or not? So you get NS1 or not?
Understood, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Only for exceptional cases ns becomes 1. Okay, now can anybody suggest me what will be the electronic configuration of F block, which will be most complicated? ns2 is filled up, then only you come here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we write n-1 d0, 1? In general, we are supposed to write d1, isn't it? Because after d1, we come here or not?
Yes, sir.
This was 5d1. This was 5d1. Then only we come here. That means everyone has got 5d1 present in them or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then why we are considering d0 also? Can anybody tell me? Suppose the configuration of any element was supposed to be 5d1, 4f6. So in those cases, this electron will jump here to make it half filled stable. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Or suppose it was supposed to be 5d1, 4f13. What will happen in that case? This single electron will jump to make it 4f14. Same concept, half filled and full filled. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, D will become 0. Otherwise, D is 1 always. And finally, n-2 f1 to 14. This is the electronic configuration of F block. Just see whether you have understood it or not. You must understand it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All boys have understood.
Sir,
I'm
in
not getting the
P
voices of girls.
subshell, we don't need D.
Which one?
Sir, while writing the D subshell, don't we need to write the P?
You have not gone to P, na?
Okay, sir.
Have you gone to P? Prior to that, D is getting filled up, na?
Yes, sir.
And what you are asking, I have understood that for the first, second, and third, there is no D in between. But for the fourth onwards, D is present in between, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So for the first three, we are not writing. For the next one, we are not supposed to write because it's a general electronic configuration. So as we are not writing for the first three, so we should not write for the next one, even though D is filled up prior to them. Clear?
Yes, sir.
I hope I could make it clear.
Yes, sir.
These are general electronic configurations, which is followed by each and every one. Now, what Shubhayu said, that for these ones, there is no D. For first period, second period, third period of P block, there is no D. So therefore, we are not writing any D. We are not supposed to write. Now, suddenly, if for them we are writing this thing, so it will be confusing. So therefore, we are not writing D for them. Yes, any doubt up to this much? So can anyone tell me, if you have understood, that why sometimes n-1 D0 is found?
Sir, because one electron jumps from the D shell to the F shell to make it stable.
To make it either half filled or fully filled. So in this whole row, how many such elements you can expect this kind of behavior?
2.
2. Half filled and fully filled. In general, all of them are D1 followed by 4F. All of them are D1 followed by 5F. But 2 of them are showing exceptional behavior, as I have shown you. So for them, D0 is also included. हो गया? समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I wrap the whole thing? Is it written?
Yes, sir.
So after understanding the whole of the periodic table, now we need to understand, with the help of electronic configuration, how can we place them? How can we say what is their group number, what is their period number, what is their group block number? That is another very important aspect which makes the modern periodic table much systematic as compared to the previous ways of classification. Suppose you are having, say, atomic number 45. There is an element X, any unknown element whose atomic number is 45, and we are to predict three things: group, period, and block from the given atomic number. You first help me out in writing the electronic configuration. Go systematically: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Follow this trend, it will be more easier. 3s2, 3p6, 4s, 3d, 4p, 10 plus 10, 20, 36, 38. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
ঠিক আছে সবাই একে পাইছে না?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now coming to the group number, look at this. It is D7. Now when I say D7, it means that it is the 7th group under D block. But as a whole, will it not be 9th group? Because prior to D, there are two S groups. Not clear?
Sir, could you repeat once?
Okay. Look at, in order to find out the group number, focus on where is the last electron entering. It is entering 4D or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now 4D is present here in between. This is S, this is P, this is D, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now when I say it is D7, as a whole, it's not the 7th group. As a whole, it will be 9th group or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because D7 means 7th group of D block. But as a whole, it's not the 7th group, because prior to D7, there are already two S groups, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So group number will be 2 plus 7, that is equal to 9. It means that when you come across such kind of configuration where the last electron enters in the D subshell, you have to extra add 2 from your own side because of S. That will give you the overall group number. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
But if the electronic configuration would have ended up with S, then I would not have added anything, because that itself would have been the group number. Clear? Prior to this,
Yes,
there is
sir.
no group. Na? And if it ends up with P, then extra how much you have to add prior to that? Is it not 12?
Yes, sir.
Two groups belong to S, next 10 belongs to D, then only the P starts or not. So prior to P, already there are 12 groups lying.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So that has to be taken care of. Where is the last electron entering? If it enters in S to the power n, group number will be n. If it ends up with D to the power n, it will be 2 plus n. If it ends up with P to the power n, it will be 12 plus n. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone having doubt, clarify it. Because after you
Sir,
start,
what about f to the power n?
F will not belong to any group because suddenly it has come with exception. So group is determined only for S, P, and D. There is no group for
Okay.
F.
Okay, sir.
There is a period for F, but no group for F. Because group is considered to be only 1 to 18. And there is no space for F to accommodate within those 18. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Next comes period number. To determine the period number, let me consult this diagram again. This is period number 1. This is period number 2. This is period number 3. This is period number 4, 5, 6, 7. So the period number is determined by the highest principal quantum number. You see, what is the highest principal quantum number here? There is no choice. So it is 1. So period number is 1. What is the highest principal quantum number? No choice. It is 2. So period number is 2. 3, period number 3. Here, this is not the highest principal quantum number. Which is the highest principal quantum number? Is it not 4?
Yes, sir.
So period number will be 3 or period number will be 4?
Sir, 4.
4. Because period number is determined by the highest principal quantum number all through in the whole electronic configuration. What will be the period number of any element belonging to this? Which is the highest principal quantum
Sir,
number?
7th period.
7. So all of them will belong to 7 period. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So period number is determined by highest principal quantum number. Look at the whole electronic configuration. Which principal quantum number do you think is the highest?
Sir, 5th
Sir,
period.
5.
5.
5. Okay, so it does not depend every time where is the last electron entering. It depends upon what is the highest principal quantum number. Clear?
Okay, sir.
So within bracket, you can write down this highest principal quantum number. Block, just like group, depends upon where is the last electron entering. Where is the last electron entering? Which
D.
subshell?
Sir,
D.
D block. Sir,
So
D.
it will be D block. I hope it is clear.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So group number depends upon where is the last electron entering. Accordingly, you add up 2, 12 or none, depending upon where is the last electron entering. Period number determined by the highest principal quantum number. And the block is again to which subshell the last electron is entering. I hope it is clear.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try out some questions. এখানে যদি মুরত হুমাইছে, you have understood a very important topic because the whole modern periodic table has been prepared so systematically that if you know the atomic number, you can easily locate its position. And if you know its position, you can predict its atomic number as well. Predict, same question. Group, period, and block. Z equal to 28. Z equal to 19. Z equal to 35. So go systematically. First, write down its electronic configuration. And while writing the electronic configuration, simply remember this trend. Then there will be no problem. First one you tell me ends up with what?
3d8.
3d8.
Prior to it, it is 4s to 3d8, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So if atomic number 28 ends up with 4s to 3d8, what do you think will be the group number? If it is
10.
3d8,
Sir, 10.
8 plus 2 comes out to be 10, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So we are into this 4s to 3d8. So 8 plus 2, 10. Group number is 10. What is the period number?
4.
4. Because highest principal quantum number is 4. And what is the block?
D block.
D.
Block.
Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So-
sir.
Try out the next one. What is the second one ending up with?
So
4s1.
4s1.
4s1. So it is also in this fragment, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is the group number?
1.
First.
What is the period number?
4.
And what is the block?
S.
Very simple, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
$35 ends up with what?
4p5.
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 So again, it is ending up with same,
Yes, sir.
this fragment again. So what is the group number? Add up all, isn't it?
Sir,
17.
17.
17.
5 plus 12. What is the period?
4.
4.
And what is the block?
P.
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 Is it understood?
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So always try to break down in these fragments. Then it becomes very easy. And if it is ending up here, that will be the block group number. If it is ending up here, add extra 2. If it is ending up here, add extra 12. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Anyone having doubts, please ask me.
Sir, in the question number 2, can you please explain why the group number is 1?
Group number is 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is ending up with 4s1, na?
Yes, sir.
This is S, this is D, this is P. Now, if it is S1, is there any group prior to it?
No, sir.
So it will be the group number itself.
Okay, sir.
Had it been D, I would have extra added 2. Had it been P, I would have extra added 10 plus 2, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
But for S, we need not add because the whole modern periodic table starts from S itself. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes? All of you are clear about locating the group, period, and block or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Still, if you have got confusion, you can go through the video after the class whenever you have got doubt. But you must learn. This is an important aspect. So we have learned the general electronic configurations of the 4 different blocks. We have learned how to carry out the prediction of period, group, and block from the atomic number. Thereafter, we'll discuss some special names given to the block and reason behind it. S and P block elements. Together are referred to as representative elements. Why are they called representative elements? Because S block represent metals, P block represent non-metals. On the extreme left-hand side, you will have more metallic property. On the extreme right-hand side, you have more non-metallic property. And because S and P are extreme left and right, so they are representing metals and non-metals respectively, because of which they are called representative elements. Clear?
Yes, sir.
D block elements are sandwiched in between S and P block. So therefore, there is a gradual change in their properties from metallic to non-metallic as we move from left to right hand side. Because on the extreme left, you have more metals. On the extreme right, you have more non-metals. So as we are moving slowly from left to right hand side, the metallic property is gradually changing to non-metallic property. And due to this gradual change or transition, the D block elements are also called transition elements. Transition means change. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So again, I am repeating, those who have not understood why D block elements are called transition elements, because D block shares the maximum area in the whole periodic table. So as we are gradually moving from left to right hand side of a periodic table, the maximum change is observed through the D block from metallic to non-metallic property. And due to this change in the property, gradually from metallic to non-metallic property, we call the D block elements as transition elements. F block elements. F block elements are part of the D block elements, which are taken out of the D block elements, because of which they are called inner transition elements. Inner transition elements. So these are the names given to the elements belonging to 4 groups, but there are only 3 names because S and P are together called representative elements.
Sir, why the F block is called inner transition?
Because F block has been suddenly taken out of the D for some time. They are part of the D. But because suddenly the electron starts filling in F, so they have been separately placed under F block. But they are part of the D block element, isn't it?
Yes.
They're not separate. In D, you remember after lanthanum, suddenly it comes here and again we go back. So is it not the
Yes,
midway
sir.
between the D?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, they are inner transition elements. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are the names given to the elements belonging to particular blocks. Now, some groups are given some special names, not all, some of them, some of which you are familiar with. Group 1 element are called alkali metals. Though hydrogen has been placed in group 1, but it is never studied with group 1 elements because hydrogen is a gas. Others are metals. Hydrogen is a non-metal. So therefore, hydrogen is not group 1 element. It is placed separately and studied separately. Just for the sake of electronic configuration, it is written along with group 1. So group 1 element starts from which element?
Lithium.
Lithium. So lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. These are group 1 elements. Though hydrogen is placed along with other group 1 elements, but it is not considered to be group 1 because it's not a metal. Group 2. Alkaline earth metals. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium. So all of them have NS2 configuration. Alkaline earth metals. हो गया?
Yes, sir.
Group 17. Halogens. Chlorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Halogens means salt forming. Group 18. Noble gases. And apart from that, there are some other groups like group 16, which starts from oxygen family. They are called chalcogens. Chalcogens stand for ore forming. So most of the ores that are found in nature are either oxides or sulfides. So therefore, they are called chalcogens. Group 15, nitrogen family. They are called nicogens.
Sir, after group 2, why group 17 came up?
No, there is no hard and fast rule. I am just giving haphazardly because not all groups have special names.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it
It
is
is just
nitrogen. N is silent or what? Sir, it is
nicogens.
nitrogen.
P is
Okay.
nicogens. It's nicogens. P is
Okay,
silent.
sir.
Nicogens. Now, copper, silver, and gold belong to the same group. Copper, silver, and gold belong to the same group. Which group is copper, silver, and gold belonging to? Group 11, I believe. No. They belong to D block. Copper
Yes, sir.
is 4s1 3d9, 3d10. So it is group 11. So remember group 11, which contains copper, silver, and gold. They are called coinage metals because coins are made up of them. So out of 18 different groups, 7 groups have been given some special names. So just for knowledge purpose, you must remember. These are all familiar to you because you have come across them. These must be known to you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So next day we'll continue further. This chapter is interesting. It's a very important conceptual chapter. So I hope you have understood today's class because it was most complicated class, especially locating the elements in the periodic table. I hope you could understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Still
sir.
any doubt, you can go through the recorded video once so that your doubts will be further clarified. Thank you. Good night, all of you. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.